Cool. Here we go. We're talking game planning. We're talking game plan. How do we game plan all the stuff we just talked about, and how do we fit it with what we're trying to do in terms of particularly the run game? I'm going to talk particularly about concepts such as setting the bubble, how do we cancel gaps, and then how do we not double rotate. Okay, so that's what we're going to talk about. So first of all, when we particularly talk about playing one high defense, I talk about setting the bubble. What is the bubble? The bubble is the open B gap. This is the bubble. Does that make sense? This is the B gap bubble. So we're setting the bubble. So when we talk about how we set our fronts in relation to our coverage, we want to set the bubble to get the ball to go to a particular place. Okay? Now, what I use, the type of front I use is called a T-GOG front, which is a misnomer concept called two gap, one gap. I did not make this up. There was a guy on a website called Football's Life that was the one who taught me this. Like, I learned it from him. Like, his website taught it to me. However, I have adjusted it for my one high needs. So this is going to primarily talk about one high fits. So, and it's easiest to understand in 3x1. If I am T-gogging and the gap inside of me is open, I'm a B-gap defender. Now, there's a lot of ways I can do that. We use a deuce technique, so we knock the tackle back and then play the B-gap with our hat. So he goes to knock him back, and then he puts color in the B-gap with his hat. So it looks like pot versus the base block.
Rewind and repeat.
Say again?
Rewind and repeat. Hit that one more time.
Okay, that's fine. So if I'm a deuce defender, I don't have somebody, a buddy inside of me in terms of a defensive buddy. I am going to take the gap inside of me. However, I'm going to play eye to eye on him. I'm going to get thick on the block, and I'm going to play the inside gap with my hat. So it's not I slant into the gap. It's I knock it back and lag is what I'm playing. I'm playing lag. Does that make sense? We always count the ball as a buddy. So if there's somebody inside and we count the ball as a buddy, I'm basically a one-gap defender. Okay? We call it a jet technique, but I'm going to play traditional block down, step down. I'm a one-gap defender. So there's nobody inside of me. Nobody inside of me if I'm the 3 technique. Knock it back. I'm playing the A. I'm a jet defender. I'm block down, step down. If I get a puller, I will box it. If I get mesh, I'm the quarterback player. We say we squeeze and pop. Okay? So how do we put this in with how we rotate our coverage? If I'm playing weak side rotation cover 3, I want the B gap bubble to be to the rotation. So we're playing skate, whether it's skate or skate skinny in this situation, and we're handling RPO. I want to set my front, this would be even right. I want to set my front so that the B gap bubble, where the ball is going to get pushed to, is to the weak side safety. And I can make them give the ball because my rules dictate that if I'm a jet defender, I squeeze and pop, and I'm a quarterback player. Does this make sense so far? I'm going to back gap with the will linebacker who's in a 0-0 over the center. The gap, my responsibility, is behind me. So I'm going to step with the zone, and I'm going to start to fall back. What's going to happen to this double team if they track this? It's going to come off. We're going to fall back. We're going to have leverage on the gap. I am not overly concerned with the 3 technique being in the A gap. I just need color in the gap. That's why we tell them we're going to fall, and we're just looking to keep the ball in the near shoulder. Because I don't know what the space is going to be. But as long as I keep the ball leveraged on the near shoulder, it doesn't matter. I don't care if it's A or B gap. I care about tackling the ball. More importantly, here's what happens. This double team, if it IDs the point correctly, it's going to ID the point as the weak side safety, not the will linebacker. So if it needs to push the point, how is it going to do that when the end's a B-gap player? It's not. So they run inside zone and the ball bounces. The weak side safety has tackling practice. The Mike backer's hanging on 3 to play the RPO. The strong safety's hanging on 2 to play the RPO. Corner's playing it like midpoint. If they're going to throw an RPO, I'm going to make them throw it to the flat of 1 in cover 3. Like if we're playing weak side rotation cover 3. If I'm playing skate. So this would be skate. Or skate skinny. Make sense? We'd be in skate or skate skinny. Cool? Okay. If I played too high, let's say we were in our man match quarters world and we were playing hammer weak, and we were playing stubby strong, or we were playing special strong, or we were playing whatever strong. This looks exactly the same as our pre-snap alignments for skinny skate. We start this guy in 3x1, 10x1 outside the number 3. Pre-snap alignment. That's where he starts. So he starts at 10 yards. You can be 10 yards in the B gap, or you can be 10 yards off the tackle. It depends on if you're T-gogging or not. For an offense, the picture pre-snap looks the same. That's the picture. Pre-snap. That's my picture I want almost every down. So now I can be in weak side rotation, cover 3, playing skate. He hangs on the RPO. He's the guy in the C gap. Corner's playing meg, we're playing skate. I can now play hammer cut weak. Corner's in the fit. Safety's on the half. We're playing stubby special strong. Looks exactly the same, doesn't it? Now, I say, I don't want a T-gog anymore. I'm going to keep him here, and he's going to insert in the B gap. So I've changed the point again for the offensive line. The picture looks the same. What we try to do is I try to walk the mic pre-snap, because when we play Mabel or we play cover 1, we want it to start like this, and then when we push them back across the field, cover 1 and Mabel are going to look exactly the same. This is what's going to end up as, like that, with him down and him high. How do you know if it's cover 1 or Mabel? Pre-snap, how do you know? You don't. You don't know if it's Mabel skinny. You don't know if it's cover 1. You don't know if it's cover 3. Like Mabel. So I make it look the same. I make it look the same. When I play strong side rotation coverage, I want to set the bubble to the side of the rotation. So I want to set the front away from the rotation. Think setting the bubble, not setting the front. Because when you start thinking setting the front, you think right, left. Think, how do I set the bubble? To or away from the rotation? That's what I'm thinking in my head. I'm going to set the bubble to the side of the rotation. So I'm going to set that even left. Okay? Now, I can look like I'm too high. I can look like I'm in cover 1. Am I in 1? Am I in 3? What am I in? You don't know, do you? You're not going to know, because we've already had this discussion. Now, here's the one that we didn't talk about, that I think is scary, is if you can show him down, play cut off of 2, so you're going to cut 2. You're going to be, we call it a slice, so it's like playing the hammer cut flat, but I'm just having the safety do it. The corner plays the half. The weak side safety rows to the half, he plays there. Mike, now he's going to cut 3. And now he's cutting off the back. I'm playing a strong side look cover 2 that looks like 1 high pre-snap. Please tell me how many offense coordinators you face that are going to know what that looks like. That many, right? Probably not. Because they're going to think it's single high space, right? I can throw the ball to who? The X. Then we roll them to the weak side half. Right? I would do the same thing. And the reason we do this, man, is because I want to dictate where the ball goes. I want to dictate if the quarterback's going to look to throw it or look to hand it off. If I show a 4-1 box, so a 5-man box, what are they going to probably look to do? Hand the ball off. If I show a 4-2 box, what are they probably going to look to do? So one of the things in my game plan is I always looked, are they this is like a misnomer to me, but are they a PRO or an RPO team? Like, I don't like that terminology, but like that's what I'm looking at. Do they want to throw it or do they want to run it? What are they better at? What are you better at defending? If their running back is the best dude they got, make them throw the ball and then close the space off post-snap. Show everything as 1 high and then rotate to 2 high. Example. We got an offensive guy in here, so just everybody be careful. It's steal our stuff. I started doing this at Perry. So we would show 1 high. Okay. Man alignment is what we would say. We would man align. Okay. I'm going to roll to play special. Well, who's the only 2 people that have to move? The free and the weak safety. Because the free safety already starts outside of 3 in man free. And the weak safety, yeah, literally just back up. Whoever just said that. Yeah, back up. Back straight up. Weak safety, roll to the half. Bang. I can either get the corner in the fit or to deuce the guy, or I can do things up front. We've talked about it earlier. Things we can do up front to steal gaps. But I want to try to trap the quarterback into thinking, I can throw the X game. I can throw the X game. Makes sense?
On deals like that, are you clubbing the corner or you just jumping inside?
I will club the corner if I think I can get the quarterback to throw it. I'm not going to trap it. Make sense? Okay, here we go. How do we handle some different run concepts with not enough dudes, particularly gap? How do we handle gap? One of the main ways I do it is playing torch. Torch. Torch, I got this from Blitzology. So this is all Blitzology. Okay? Some people call it a gate stunt. So let's say I'm getting 11 personnel, okay? And I know I'm getting a lot of power counter. Could be Y off, could be Y on. Okay? I'm going to torch it. Okay? What's a torch? It's a retwist by the center, on the center, by the nose and the tackle. So let's say we're playing our bracket over here, or let's say we're playing special over here, because it's 3 receivers. Okay? And let's say we're playing hammer over here. Okay? So we're going to retwist it. So if we get the center's face, you're going to bang on the center, and then you're going to wrap. If you get the center's ass, you're going to take his ass. So when you get counter, like this, I'm going to add the tackle to that side. Who's going to cut the A-gaps off? The nose cuts both A-gaps off. He wraps. He ends up taking the B-gap space. I don't have enough guys in the box to defend this. I got 6, they got 7. Really, they got 8 gaps because they have the quarterback. I shouldn't be able to defend this, but I can because I've just added a gap. So when they want to run counter, bang, bang, I can be +1 again because the nose is going to cut the play off so it can't get backside here. Does that make sense? So my Mike can play fast. This is how I play counter GT. If I'm playing counter GT and I'm playing one high defense, my number one way of handling is to play torch.
Torch, reading the center.
Yes, sir. So if I'm getting counter GT a lot, I'll read the center. Center goes away, bang, I take his ass. Center comes at me, I hit him, I cross his face. I get +1, I can get back to even on the stunt. He's going to go to there, he's going to go to there, bang, bang. Doesn't matter how it blocks out, he could go all the way back. So he goes all the way back, he tries to wrap it, I'm +1 with the defensive tackle. Either way, you slice it and dice it. I'll run a read pop stunt. This is another way I handle it. So again, could be zone, could be gap run game. Let's say we're playing weak side rotation coverage, but we want to make it so the B gap bubble is closed. Where we want them to spill the ball to, we're going to close it. Because what teams, like offenses, get smart. So what they say is, look, if the B gap is open and I'm a tackle, I'm going to step hard with my inside foot, and I'm going to fan you because I know he's going to be a B gap player. Like, they're not stupid. They coach too. So I need to find ways to hide the bubble. One of them is by running a read pop. So let's say I'm in skate again. I could be in my hammer. It's going to all look the same. I'm going to run the read pop in this case. If we're playing against zone teams, I'm going to run it away from the back. If I'm playing it against gap teams, I'm going to run it to the back. And we'll say why in a second. So I'm getting inside zone.
You repeat that, I'm sorry. Zone team.
Zone teams, I'll run it away from the back. Gap teams, I'm going to run it to the back. So I call this a read pop. The will, step with the zone to get the center to climb to me. Fall. We're going to short stick the nose into the B gap. And you're a jet defender. You're going to squeeze and pop, set the edge. The tackle, stab the B, get vertical. And read the tackle. He blocks out, I run the stunt. I pop it. I'm going to wrap. Who cuts the play off? Can anybody tell me who cuts the play off? Who's going to be the new edge of the defense?
Yeah.
The tackle. The tackle will become the new edge of the defense. Really, I don't need the weak safety at this point. The tackle's going to cut the play off. So I've just stolen gaps again in the run game. So I can now play my too high stuff again and steal gaps. This is really good for zone teams. If I'm handling it for gap teams, I'm going to set it to the back. Let's say we're getting that counter GT problem. You tell them, guys, read the tackle. If the tackle pulls, I fold. I run the pop. Nose, you're going to short stick. End, you're going to be here. Tackle, you're stabbing it. Get vertical. Who's going to set the edge of the defense again? The tackle, because he's getting vertical. End, you see the pull. You pop it. You end up being the A-gap insertion. I got enough dudes now. Make sense? So now he pulls, he kicks, he pulls, he wraps. I bracket the pullers and on to the next play. Quarterback keeps it. Tackle is going to be the edge of the defense. That's why he's getting vertical on him. Run vertical. Right? Get vertical on the guy. So what I tend to do is play read pop in too high space because I know I have an edge of the defense with the corner, and play torch in one high space because I want to keep the ball in the chute. I want to keep the ball in the box when I run torch. So I tend to play more one high. Cover one, cover three. I'll play a lot of three Mabel. When I want to pop it, I'm going to play a lot of hammer, bracket, too high stuff. If you're playing a lot of palms, stuff like that. I got overhangs. Questions about that?
You say you box it with the end.
Yes, I do.
But the math's right. You could spill it if you wanted to.
I could. But if I'm playing too high space, I can't now,
Gotcha.
right? He has to be the math. Uh-huh.
Hey, to decide when you do pop and when you torch, just if you think of the zone versus something else.
So if I'm getting gap and it's single high space, I'm going to torch it most of the time. If I'm getting zone, I can do torch or pop. I prefer the pop game. If I'm getting gap and it's too high space, I'm going to run the pop stunt. And I'm run the pop stunt to the back. Whereas I'm going to run the pop stunt away from the back if I'm getting zone. So I'm going to say that again. One high space gap scheme, I'm going to torch it. One or two high space zone scheme, I'm going to pop it away from the back to steal the gap. Yeah, doesn't matter what type of, man match, zone match. Too high, I'm going to pop it. If I'm getting gap, it's going to be to the back. If I'm getting zone, it's going to be away from the back. The nice thing is, it can be out of trips, it can be out of 2x2. This in this situation, it would be like 3x1, yes. Be like that. But it could be 2x2. Mm-hmm. Questions so far? No. Okay. Another thing I will do to try to handle the math, we called it a ram lion stunt. It's a game plan. So I knew I want to set the bubble to a certain direction. Again, we're just going to do this because it's easiest, okay? But I also knew I needed to hide it. Why do I need to hide it? Because the offenses are smart. So I'm going to set the front and then short stick the defensive tackles the other direction. I just tell my ends. Pretend like it's the opposite front call. So this for me would be a left ram. We'd set the front to the left. We'd make even left call. Ram tells my tackles we're going to the right. You pretend like there's nobody inside of you because post-snap there's not going to be anybody inside of you. You pretend like there's a buddy inside of you because post-snap there's going to be a buddy inside of you. So he's a deuce player. He's a jet player. But I've done it post-snap. The other thing I teach with those defensive tackles is we use a faces and asses technique with the tackles. So if they read the next man over. If they get his face, they cross it. If they get his ass, they take his ass. It's the number one way I handle gap scheme in too high space. It's the number one way I handle gap scheme in too high space. Because I know, let's say I'm getting the back over here, and I'm playing, again, another too high concept, or I'm playing weak side rotation. It doesn't really matter. Okay? And they give me some type of gap scheme. I'm out-gapped. I can't ask the corner to fit in there. Like, that doesn't work. I need to find ways to add numbers to that side of the formation, right? I got to add. I don't have enough dudes. He's out of the fit to play the RPO at the moment, okay? So he reads faces and asses. He gets his face, he crosses it. He gets his face, he crosses it. So when we get the gap scheme, we tell him when you cross it, stay tucked. So if a polar comes, spill it. That's the hardest thing to do. It's like you cross the dude's face, you're the edge of the defense, there's an end outside of you, but think it's a gap scheme. It's a gap scheme, right? So it happens, I'm going to spill the polar, I'll be +1 outside again. So when he comes, he's tight, he spills it. Most of the time he doesn't see him, right? But he spills it, stays underneath it. He becomes the +1 outside. We'll play it slow. Play it slow. We always play the backside hip. The will?
How will it take that on?
The will linebacker will spill it. Mm-hmm. Wrong shoulder. Yep. We say get deep and thick, run the circle. Mm-hmm. Get thick on the guy, deep in the backfield, run the circle. Get vertical. Mm-hmm. Main way I handle too high space gap scheme right there. That's the number one way I handle too high space gap scheme. It's also the number one way I handle Y in the core. Y's in the core, 11 personnel, Y on. I know I need to go faces and asses again. Weak side rotation again. They run a gap scheme. Let's say they run buck sweep. You start this guy now in a 7 technique, 6-eye, whatever you decide to call him. Do the same faces and asses technique. He's the deuce defender, sorry, or like this. He's the deuce defender. He's face and ass off the center. He crosses the center's face. He's face and ass off the tackle, cross the tackle's face. He's face and ass off the Y, cross the Y's face. I've just added gaps again. So now, when they want to run buck sweep, what happens is the ball stretches and it turns into a really shitty stretch. I did this a few years ago to a particular team that we played. And it looked like a really bad stretch play, and I just told my Will and my Mike, stay behind the defensive lineman. Because when the ball got vertical, the pullers are all out there. The pullers are all gone. And the ball's coming here. There are no offensive players. They're over here. The ball's here. He sits. Everybody's over there. Free tackle. Make sense?
You draw one more time, just reiterate it.
Yeah. So I'll draw it big, because I like drawing things big. We're getting buck sweep. Now, I'm going to ask you, do you guys want the easy way to teach it or the hard way to teach it? With the faces and asses concept. Okay, then we already taught it. We're good then. Okay. There's a harder way to teach it that's just more detailed. So I'm a type 5. I'm a type 3, could be a 2. I'm a 2-eye. And I play like a 6, we call it a 6-eye. So he's going to block down. He's going to, if they're running buck sweep or pin pull in general, let's say he blocks down. Let's say he pulls because they're running pin and pull. Let's say he blocks back. Let's say he pulls. Just for shits and giggles. They could pull, they could yank the center. It doesn't matter. I don't really care. Don't care. He's face and ass off the Y. He crosses the Y. He's face and ass. He crosses. My guy goes away, get flat down, heel line, snap, turn, and run. That's what I tell him. If your man that you're trying to face an ass is pulling away from you, get flat down the heel line, snap, turn, and run. I'm face and ass off the center. I'm crossing the center. What happens? Those guys try to stretch you because they're trying to still down block you, so they try to stretch you. So what happens is the ball's going this way. These guys are going out here. The offensive linemen are moving this direction to try to block you. This ends deucing. The Will and the Mike backer, we just tell them play the backside hip of the pullers. We just play the backside hip of the ball, I should say, not the pullers. We say cap the ball. So when they cap the ball and the ball cuts up, all the linemen are over there. The ball's coming in the cylinder. I'm keeping the ball in the cylinder. Let's do a big demonstration because this will be fun. Can you stand up? Stand up, stand up, stand up. Anybody else want to stand up? Stand up. This is going to be fun. Okay, can I use one more? One more person, please? Doesn't matter? Okay, cool. So all we're going to do is we're going to show this like it's stretched. Come here. Turn around. Let's all, yeah, turn around. Let's do it the other way. So you guys come over here. Come over here. Right here. Be right there. Be right there. Cool. You're my defensive tackles. Okay? You're my defensive tackles. This is what's going to happen. You're going to face and ask him. You're going to face and ask me. You're going to block down, and you're going to start to reach him. You are going to block back. He's going to face and ask. You're going to pull. I'm going to block down on you. We're going to do this slowly. You're going to pull this way.
Okay.
Okay? Pull out like buck sweep. Say, go. Boom. Start working outside of me. Start working. We're reaching. We're reaching. We're moving. The ball gets stretched. At some point, what's the back going to do? The back's going to be like, all the dudes are over there. I'm going to run over here. I'm the Will linebacker. I'm the Mike backer. All the dudes over there, the ball's right here. Right? Like, that's what's happening. So, yeah.
What if it wasn't pin and pull, though? What if it was just
Outside zone. So, yep, stay, come back, come back. Come back and join me. Works great. Because I tell them face and ass, right? So now what's going to happen, you're going to key him, okay? He's going to give you the ass. You're going to take his ass, snap, turn, and run down the line of scrimmage. You're going to key him first and then him second. You're going to cross him, key him. He gives you his ass, you're going to snap, turn, run, okay? I'm the backer. Pretend like you're trying to reach me. Set, go, go, bang, snap, turn, run, snap, turn, round. Nope, you got him. You got him. Do it again. We're okay. Take him. You reach him. Set, go, boom. Come reach me. Come reach me. Bop. Where's the ball going to go? Where's the ball going to go?
Right to you.
Right to me. And I stay on the backside hip of the block. I'll step with the zone to get you to come off. I cut the play off with the guy slanting, right? The ball's going to stay in the cylinder. So I just even the math up again. So ram line is like my number one stunt that I used to do for pin pull, buck sweep. It's what I used to do for gap scheme all the time. It was like,
Coach the linebackers to be patient with that.
yeah. So we're a ball fit team. That was the big reason. And so because we were a ball fit team, we told them cap the ball. So what's this? What is this? This is a marker, right? This is a cap. How do you put it? How do you put the cap on the marker? Straight on it. Be straight, head up on the ball. Don't overrun the ball. Don't be behind the ball. Be head up on the ball. Cap it. Yeah, pretty simple, right? Cap the ball. We did the same thing when we played a buck sweep team. Who was much better than we were. We ran the same type of stunt, but we ran a Ralph Larry stunt, which is also the base way I handle unbalanced. So we knew to a tight end wing, they ran a crap load of buck sweep. F, T, whatever you want to call it. So we got now in our even right front. So basically, instead of starting in under and moving to over, we all slanted to the side that we started. So he's a 2I, he's a 3, he's a 6I. You're going to slant to the D, you're going to slant to the C, you're going to slant to the A, you're going to deuce it. So now the same stretch occurs. You go back, he stretches it, he pulls, you go down, he stretches it, he pulls, you go down, it becomes a double team, I get +1, cap the ball, right? Ball stretches, he comes downhill, you tackle it, everybody says hooray. We lengthen the edge. It's all about lengthening the edge of the defense. Questions about that? No? Okay, cool. Okay, so talk about some stunts, talked about setting the B-gap bubble. I'm going to talk about a concept called double rotation. This is something I don't want to do. I do not want to do. It's when I set the front to the same side as I set the insertion player in my rotation. Example. This is what I spent like most of my time game planning. If I set the 3 technique over here, and I just played traditional block down, step down rules. He was here, he was here, he was here, he was here. And they ran inside zone. The weak side safety is going to have to fit the A gap. How many of your weak side safeties can fit the A gap? Any of them? No? Didn't think so. Mine can't. Right? Like, no, they can't do that. They can't do those fits. So this is a concept called double rotation. The rotation is to the side of the A-gap insert. This thing happens a lot in odd. You'll be in odd structures. You'll have nose, end, jack. And the safety will have to fit off the nose because the will has to fit off the 4I. Any of your guys can do that? No, didn't think so. Like mine can't do that. So what am I going to probably do? Make sure I don't double rotate. So if I'm in this odd structure, I'm going to put the jack to the passing strength. So now, who's fitting off the 4I? The weak safety is. Who's fitting the 0? The will is. The ball's going to push to the weak side safety. Or the ball's going to push to the corner if we're playing cloud support. This was like my entire game planning session. I had a particular call called 3 auto. Like this was most of my defense. It determined week to week how I set the front in relation to the surfaces I was getting. Hard 3-man, soft 3-man, no 3-man, back, 3x1 load, 3x1 split. How I wanted to set the front in relation to the rotation of the defense. And then how I handle that rotation with motion. All right, here we go. We're going to say that we want, and this really married well with my TGOG rules. So we want this week the quarterback to carry the ball as much as possible, as much as we can. Quarterback carry the ball, okay? They're a zone read team because we're going to keep it simple right now, okay? We said in our 3 auto, if the back was split. So first of all, we were going to always set the front away from the back. So we're going to set the bubble to the back. So set bubble to back. Make sense? So we're setting the front away from the back. But we could ram line it, show like we're setting the front to the back, but we're still going to set the bubble away. So this would be an even left. If it's split, and I want the quarterback to carry the ball with the way I ran my rules, to get him to be a deuce player and bend and chase to take the dive, I needed him to be to the open B gap, right? So when they ran zone read, he could bend and chase. So in 3x1 split, we need to be in weak side rotation cover 3, skate. If they went to 4x1, and I was setting the back opposite, setting the front opposite the back, do I want my weak side safety fitting in here? No, because I'm not going to get the ball pulled to that side. This is the side of the ball is going to get pulled to. I'm going to play Mabel. Make sense? I'm going to play Mabel, the 4x1. Because I know that I'm trying to get the ball pulled, and the quarterback to carry the ball as much as possible. So in 2x2 sets, I had to think in my mind, if I'm setting the bubble to the back, I'm setting the front opposite the back. In 2x2, when they motion to 3x1, is it going to be split or load? So if it starts like this, and it's going to be load, I got to rotate to Mabel. I got to spin the safeties to Mabel on motion. If it's going to be split, I'm going to slide to skate on the motion. If they motion FIB, and I've set the front over here, they motion FIB, I have to either, 1, spin the safeties again and put the strong safety up, the free safety down, and the weak safety over, or I sling it and I run them across. If I wanted that in Ram Lion, I would say Ram Lion 3 auto, and they switched all the rules. Not the back end, but the front end, because we knew we were going to end up in the same look post-snap. Like it was like, this is the picture we're going to start in. We're going to end in the same picture we did before. Does that make sense? We could if we're playing cover 1. Right? We could key the motion and spin it. But I still have the same motion problems. And that's part of the reason I say play a lot of cover 1, because then the Will and Mike never move. Right? So play cover 1. I'm just going to keep plugging in there. Play cover 1. Right? Because now I'd have to figure out all these ways to handle the motion. If I'm getting a lot of fly sweep and I want to set the edge on fly sweep, then I want my jet end to away from the side they're probably going to run the fly sweep, right? So he can set the edge using a race technique. Then I got to adjust all the motions in a particular manner. Yeah, race technique. We tell them, look, either the back's to my side, or let's say, no, we're getting certain jet sweeps from a particular side. We tell them, I read the tackle. The tackle's down. My eyes go to the mesh. If I'm getting the mesh for power read, I'm going to get vertical. I'm going to get up the field to the quarterback toe line and turn my shoulders. And so that I can be a 2-for-1 player, it's just in reverse. I'm going to take away the jet, and I'm going to fall back to take away the quarterback on the GIF. I'm going to be the inside element. We can continue this, but it looks like we have to wrap it up.
The situation, it's 3rd and 4 at the positive 40. So we're on Dante's side of the 50. It's the 4th quarter. You're down by 4. You got 2 minutes and 15 seconds. Don't worry about the timeouts. All right? You got the situation? You got to convert. You got to convert, brother. All right?
Do I have a broken leg? Am I bankrupt? Shit, what else can we do now?
So you're going to have to write upside down.
Yeah, I know, that's already the problem.
Are you filming now? Okay. So talk.
And I can do anything?
You can do anything. Yeah.
Okay.
He can do anything. Just write a little bit bigger, Rich. Write bigger, Rich, please.
Anything, okay.
Yeah, no constraints, coach. Just do whatever the hell you want. Put 12 out there. That'll work.
There you go.
So hard in it.
Dude, it's like I'm on the moon. Like I'm in zero gravity right now.
You got the backwards wire right now.
Shit, coach, I can't even. Please. God damn. Terrible, bro. All right. So. So just for effect, we're in 11 personnel. Y is set as a fullback. We're going to kick out the C gap player. We're going to hit and run the double team 2 gaps back. We're going to A gap pull, ball across his face, out cut to the front door side, and that's a glance, 5-step, working and reading grass RPO.
Erase the run scheme so he can draw his front up and just put the line of scrimmage back in.
Is there a receiver reduced split? Is the Z reduced split? Is this the boundary or is it FIB?
So we're going to say boundary and field.
Okay. And that's not reduced split by the Z. I guess it could be because of, okay. All right, well, okay. So we're going to play bracket to this side. So when 2 runs the out, we're going to end up doubling, robbing your glance. So that's done. We're going to club technique. We're going to club technique, right? Playing outside leverage, club technique. He's going to end up sailing it, playing underneath your out route. Safety's playing the half, okay? Because your Y's tucked, we're going to set, because we know what you're doing, we're going to set the 3 tech to the Y, okay? I'm going to be a 20 backer, I'm going to be a 40 backer, and we're going to torch it up front. So when you run your gap scheme, he's going to cut the play off, he's going to bang it, and he's going to wrap. So we're going to end up taking away, canceling this gap. He's going to be here, he's going to pull, we're going to bracket your pullers. I've handled that, and you don't have enough dudes for that. So cut, hammer, torch inside. I could read pop it, but I don't want to because back's away from the Y and you're not running outside zone. If you're running inside outside zone or split zone, I'm going to key the Y and read pop. Otherwise, I'm going to torch it, bracket it. That's fine. The glance doesn't work.
4th and 6.
I could, if I could.
Tackles first, right? The tackle's gonna
Yep. So they're reading off of the center. The center goes away, I take his ass. Center goes away, take his ass. So it doesn't matter which way you go. You can run counter the other way. I'm going to take away both A gaps. Nose, I bang, and I start to wrap. I'm going to end up being in your B gap space. If your tackle's good, he's going to recognize it. He's going to come off, end up playing the nose. If he's not good, or if he's average, He's going to climb because he's tracking the backside backer. He tracks the backer, the tackle makes the tackle. It becomes a vice tackle between the nose and the will. If he does track the nose, it's going to be a vice tackle between the mic and the will. Yep, okay. What's next?
All right. Let's make it a little, does anybody have a, I'm going to do one more, but we're going to even the score up a little bit.
How?
Huh? Because that was skewed
He's
toward,
gotta play with 10.
that was skewed toward Dante.
Okay, that's fine.
All right? So we're going to hamstring you a little bit on this one. Does anybody want to change this situation? Anybody got a fun situation? It's like, huh? Oh, okay. All right, let's move it. Yeah, because he just lost a yard.
Or 2.
He lost 2 then. All right. So we're at 4th and 6 now, Rich. It's a do or die. Now, the way we're going to change it, Rich, you're still drawn upside down, but you set the formation. Dante sets, huh?
Go ahead.
All right, Dante, you set the formation.
Okay.
That's all he knows.
Okay.
He sets the front and coverage, then you dictate the play, and then to see how you react.
Does Rich have to say field boundary?
Yeah, well, you gotta know where, yeah, so.
Yeah, I do, because I know how to set shit.
Where we at?
I wonder if he needs more advantage.
All right, go ahead.
So it's 4th and 6?
4th and 6, down by 4.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I didn't have any timeouts.
Are we in the same personnel grouping then? Or do you care? Okay.
Draw big, draw big.
So I have to stay in nickel. I can't sub.
You
I can't sub.
You sub, we'll change.
I might sub anyway. It won't matter.
All right, so Rich did not sub. Rich didn't have
That's
any more
fine.
timeouts. He's gotta go with what he knows.
That's fine. We can stay there and play Mars.
Don't be dyslexic.
How much time on play clock?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. It's 4th and 6.
Damn Z's at 82 font.
Is your Z, is the Z an 82 font because he's the best dude?
That's a bitch of 6, 9.
Well, it's important because I gotta know what covers I'm gonna play.
That's Harold Carmichael.
All right. So I'm assuming, okay, that this guy is not 6'9".
Boundary field.
Yeah, but I'm not saying this Z is not a dude.
They're all the same.
They're all the same. Okay, perfect. That'll be easy then. So it's 4th and 6. Okay.
First, Barry, Arizona.
Okay.
On a 7-second 40.
Okay.
132 pounds.
All right. Here's what we're gonna do. I could do it 2 ways, but we're gonna be aggressive here just for my sake, just because I want to. Middle. We're gonna be here. We're gonna walk it down. Oh, fuck me. I know what he's gonna do. That sucks. So we're gonna run a rain pressure. It's another read pop stunt. So center turns to me. I pop. I'm the rat in the hole. Center goes away. I'm blitzing the Q. Get him off his spot. We're also gonna run. Some people call it change. Some people call it cop. We're gonna play man-to-man on the defense on the Y with the end because it's 4th and 6. I'm thinking one of 2 things: max pro 3-man, like 3-man concepts, or I'm thinking intermediate routes because I'm gonna play close coverage, and I don't think you can run a 3-yard out route for a first down, and I don't think you would have enough time on the clock if you don't want any timeouts and it's already down to like 2 minutes. So we're going to change it, and he's going to come off the edge. So corner's here, end has him, he's in a 3-point stance. We're going to blitz peel with our edge rushers. We're showing like it's 6-man going on 7-man rush. It's only going to be 5. I'm going to pop. If you got a running quarterback, I'm going to pop and spy. If you have a particular receiver that I need to pop to, like let's say it's H in the slot, I'm going to pop to H in the slot, and we're going to try to bracket that H in the slot. If I need to pop to Z, I'll pop to Z. I may pop and just play straight man free rat in the hole. If I'm going to be aggressive on it, that's what I'm going to do. So.
Place the arrows.
I really hope he doesn't do what I think he's going to do.
No, you can leave. You can leave.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna get the free rusher. I just hope you don't do what I think you're gonna do, and I'm gonna get screwed.
You got the chest.
All right, so if we're getting trip side field pressure, we have to add one over there. So how we're gonna do that is we're gonna call wheels and make it an auto rollout call. So we're gonna set that defensive end and we're gonna chip him with our tight end, and then we're gonna escape to the flat. So now we have a free throw. So it's 4th and 6, but if there's grass, we're gonna throw it. Here, we're gonna run an upright route. And so we're gonna split the uprights. If he closes the middle of the field, we're gonna break that thing off at 20 yards and hunt back until we find grass. Over here, so the line is all gonna set it. And after they set it, they're gonna hinge.
waterfall.
So we're gonna all protect front side gap and make the pressure chase us down. If we get a rusher, we're gonna meet the rusher's outside hip. If we can contain him, if we can hook him, we're gonna keep going to the perimeter. If he holds the edge, we're gonna trap him and run him behind the quarterback, reset or extend. We're gonna ride the post, and then we're gonna throttle it down and find grass.
That's fine.
This kid's gonna work, and he's gonna wheel.
Okay.
And when he wheels, if we get man coverage we can outrun, we're throwing our hand in the air and we're expecting the win. If we can't, we're gonna deny, and we're gonna snap the ball back to a 12-yard comeback on the run. Once we get him on our hip and we run him, we're gonna buy more time there, and he'll run right by the coverage, and there's our 1st and 10.
Damn it. Okay.
Was that what, now,
Yeah, he was gonna go. So as soon as I mugged it, so my assumption was, as soon as I mugged it, he was gonna go some type of 7-man check release pro, and he was probably gonna sprint so he could get away from the E. What I should have done is I probably should have played double mug, odd, spied it, flushed the quarterback, and played what's called buster, so that when he runs the wheel, the corner has leverage on the wheel route. It's two man now. He has the leverage on the wheel. The strong safety would actually be the nickelback. He'd cut the one, and I'd have leverage on the throw. If this is a reduced split, we're going to cone it, come out the roof. Corner's going to come high, so we can handle any type of post cut. If it was a normal split, I'd play it like 2-man, which is what I should have done. That was my fault. Damn it. Okay.
chest, man, chest, thank you.